Okay, how are we doing? All right, folks. First off, let me just refresh this just in case. But I gave patrons 3 options here, right? We've got hi Aaron. Hi Eltrue. I have not seen that name before. Um, Option A was we had singular and dual coming from this singular and the plural coming from the plural, right? A hi Tabby, hi Tinguish. Option B was we had singular just coming from the singular and the plural splitting into dual and plural. And option C ended up being the one that was chosen by patrons, and it's kind of the wildest one. Hi, Dodo. We have the dual with the singular thing ending up being this dual. And then we have singular with the singular class markers becoming the singular pronouns, and with the plural class markers becoming the plural pronouns. Now, with us choosing the wildest option, there was someone last week, mentioning that this is kind of hard to grasp, and I think I have a story that can make sense of like why this happened. So I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it in the shower last night. Just kind of figured out, like, since it was likely that this one was going to win, that just like what exactly happened in the language that caused such an unusual thing. I like the forms that it generates, but it is kind of an odd one. So it was this option that won. I'll go ahead and delete the other tables. Just to clean things up, and delete these that I temporarily created to make the poll. I guess I'll just hit the cut. Okay, there we go. So here is my idea for a story. Okay, then this we rejected early. This was just using the sources for the noun classes themselves, right? So here's what I'm going to say. So we have a singular, and then when you added the singular class suffixes to it, that became the singular pronouns. You have a plural that you added the singular class suffixes to, that became the dual. And then you have the singular, you added the plural class suffixes to it, and that became the plural. Here is my story. So what happened was, the plural third person pronouns started as a collective plural. The addition of singular class affixes to the plural Dorothy, I'm trying to have a serious stream. Hi, Bliam. To the plural demonstrative, formed from a singular demonstrative and a plural class suffix. Up, plural demonstrative, created a dual, and the new collective plural, the collective plural overtook the existing plural. So what happens is, originally plural is invariant for class, but then the plural demonstrative gets these markings, right? The t and id and ik and apui, and becomes, actually, I'm just gonna say this is dual, and we'll deal with this. I'm gonna deal with that bit in a minute when we go back to the other persons. And what we have is this forms a dual, and then this exists as a collective plural first. These forms exist as collective plural first, because if we look at our sources here, we've got, these are all singular individuals. These are not just plurals. These are a collective group of the thing, right? So this could have started as like a collective plural type of thing. And then we have, so if we think of this as starting as a collective plural, and then it gradually merged into, because if you take these as collections, then what you have is, okay, you add these to a singular and you have one collection of those things. And that makes sense as a collective plural type thing. And then they move into the plural slot to make the class distinctions, because those class distinctions didn't work in plural yet. So that's the story I will go with. I could change it. I could retcon that too, but I want to have a story just in case I want to, in the future, split off a language before the point of Middle Fae. Now let's talk about this. I was actually, I realized after the stream I was kind of mistaken about how minimal augmented works. Usually when we have minimal, when we use the terms minimal augmented, this is actually in systems that don't have a dual regularly. So we would have like our first person inclusive and first person exclusive, and basically we would say that this goes in the singular slot, but it's actually a dual because you can't have only one. The inclusive. This goes in the place where you with all of the singulars, but it's actually has to be dual because of the fact that you cannot have just one person in inclusive first person. And it's, if I just give you an illustration, it's actually to prevent you from having a chart like this where you've got singular, dual, plural, and you would end up with stuff like, okay, you have your first person exclusive blah, and then you would have to have this, and then this is the only thing in this column. That's what minimal augmented is for. We don't need that. We don't need that because we actually have a dual for everybody. So all we need to do is put this over here, and then we just say that this is an NA. There's nothing here because it's not logically possible to have a singular inclusive. And yes, language is weird. Yeah. We could do with minimal pocket plural. I kind of want to do dual. It could eventually evolve into a pocket in the dialects. We'll have to see how we do things. Now, the last thing we need to do with the personal pronouns is actually I'm going to say that. I'm going to make a note of that. I want to make a note of that so I remember that because that actually is a cool callback to something that happens in English where, depending on dialect, the phrase "a couple," for me, a couple can mean more than two. A couple of something, right? And it's common. It's sort of a common thing, but there are also some people who just insist that it can only be two. I don't know if that is only in prescriptive tradition or if there are people who just naturally feel that way. So I don't know. Anyway, the question is, we have to figure out what the dual exclusive and the dual second person are. So the question I would have for a dual, let me check. Let me see if this is, yeah. Yeah. Okay, I was thinking of whether this would be an example, but actually all of the third person, it's not derived. But for yeah, me tu pela, mi tripela, mi pela, because they have the pela suffix for plural in Tokpisin. Okay, well that was not the example that I was thinking it would be, but I'm thinking that it may be more likely for these duals to be sort of a derivation. However, we already have a suppletion relationship here, right? Unless I come up with some craziness. to explain away why this is these two are the way they are. But a derivation from the singular is an option here, and it's more likely with the dual than with the plural, right? With the plural, you're very likely to have suppletion. Although, I do I do speak one language that just regularly derives plural pronouns from singular. It's definitely a thing that can happen. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you use few for 3 to 5? Yeah. Oh, for a couple, it is specifically 2, and then you use 3 to 5, Aaron. Okay, that's interesting to know. Um, for me, a couple is actually scalar. So usually it's going to be 2 to 3. But if you have like a large collection of things, like if I'm talking about a couple of M&Ms, that could be like 5 of them or 6 of them, because there's a huge thing. So it has pragmatically it's scalar. So but so we have diao for second person. I feel like that's going to reduce in the dialects. And we have a for first person exclusive. So let's think about, so a way that you can get the dual, and we haven't really thought about what the order of words are. But I mean, at the proto stage, it could be anything, and then it can change into anything. So it's not a huge deal. But like usually, you could have like a word for two, like an older word for two, or a word for pair. Let me pull up World Lexicon of Grammaticization. Is this is the second edition one, and we're gonna find dual. That's lovely. Okay. Okay, so we have two can become dual. Let's see if we find anything else. Is there like an index? Is there an index at the end that I can look up specific? Source list. come on. This is odd. There's a lot of... Okay, so we're back up into that. There's no... Is there... There's no navigation in this. Okay, so let's just go... Let's just search again. Dual. Yeah, I think they only mark dual. Appendix 2. A target source list. Okay, here we go. So let's go down to dual in here. I didn't understand what you were... Okay, the dual. Okay, they only have 2 listed as a source for dual. I think that pair could possibly... Plural pronouns with agi for dual pockle. Yeah, that's also an option, Aaron. That's like more... Okay. I will... Yeah, I don't need that. Okay. So here's the idea. So yeah, it could come from plural. What's agi? Oh, you're just saying. Yeah. Let's actually see. I want it to be derived in some way. Yeah. Okay. Um. So. So this is actually, so we have a singular, a dual, and a plural. So because minimal augmented is not actually for this, so we'll have that. Possibly some of the dialects will just lose the dual entirely, and then we will have a minimal augmented system. Because I kind of want to keep exclusive and inclusive we in every dialect for thematic reasons. Let's see. So let's actually generate roots for some kind of a dual suffix that meant to or pair or something like that. Okay. Yeah. 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 So you're saying derive it from the plural. Um, actually, that makes sense because this was derived from a plural too. So it kind of works. Let me. So let's go generate some roots, and then we will. Um, is this the right one? That's Ndakaga. Okay. We go. Let's generate about 10 of them, and we're kind of looking for. Um, okay, we actually have quite a few. Not this one. Oswi. Os. But I'm going to keep it to the ones of these that are a single syllable. And then um, let's see. We probably want to do all the combinations. So we want to grab this O and Uti. This will make sense in a second. Okay, so if we hit apply, so a chick, that shouldn't happen. A chick. Okay, I probably need to adjust the rule because I should not get a long schwa in any case. So um, let me quickly find my yeah. So these should not be not long. Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense. So au pu ut pu au pu or utia. I kind of feel like otik. I think I actually am going to alter things a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, we could do something like that. I'm going to remove all of these final consonants. Because and I'll leave that as an option and we'll see here. T. Okay. So So here we go. Okay, so I'm going to generate um I like these would be interesting, but let's do this in straw poll. So create a poll. Agi, Agi's gonna be would be. I might actually throw in an Agi somewhere else, possibly as another word for two in there. But I kind of want to. What are our dual uh, first person exclusive and second person pronouns? And here are the options that I will give you here. So they can be option 2 would be uh, with this. Add options. Excuse me. And I think that's it. I think the ones with a are a little bit o and utia. Utia. I think nah, I don't really like those. I'm going to, and we'll make this a quick ranking poll, randomize order, and let's schedule this. We'll do at 8:40. And we'll share this to the chat. You guys go and go vote. I will be looking at the results over here. In the meantime, so otherwise, now this is interesting that we have. Let me throw a clean chart here that doesn't have all of the like extra etymology nonsense because I need this to be easier to read. Yeah. How do we... So how is Lexember going for everybody? People making the words. I know that some of you are responding to in the comments of my shorts. Some of you are doing the Discord. I gave both options for whatever people are comfortable with. And this, okay, I need to actually make sure that I have this correct. Well, you know, it's for fun. So if you're a little behind, it's not a big deal. And then, why did I mess that up? I messed that up. Okay, I messed up the poll. But that's okay. Okay. This is not going to be the source of anything. It's this one. Ehu. Ehu. So keep that in mind if you haven't voted yet. Let's see what you guys choose. And we'll do up and down if you're happy with it. I messed that up. How did I do that? Okay, Tanguish, that's reasonable. I mean, you could just coin some words in your proto too. It's all up to you how you relate to it. Okay. Voting will end here momentarily. And so what else do we need to do to pronouns? We need to figure out I think we're going to actually leave the case forms until later, because we'll want to decide whether we're doing, are we just going to use inflected prepositions for all of the case forms, or are we going to derive them, or are we going to do suppletion? There's different options, and I feel like I want to see what the inflected prepositions look like before I come back and do that. So we can figure that out. Okay. Okay, we got 29 seconds. Meanwhile, yeah. Okay, voting is closed, and we have this. So what won is this. Oka. So Oka, I can just copy paste and do this. However, because I messed up, Oka, I like Oka. Oka, and then, but because I actually messed that up, I'm going to go back, and we're going to have to go back into Lexergy and have the right one. So Oka, and it's not Utica, it is Ekuta, which becomes, wait for it, I. Oh, ehuka, and it becomes ahuka, ahuka, ahuka. And actually, if we follow our, so, um, so let's actually get the whole thing. Export this. Let's go and get the whole thing here. So get this here and get this here. And if we do the same sort of ad hoc rule we did out down here, we end up with hookah. Hookah. Yeah, that's fine. That's not offensive, is it? For the dual second person to be hookah. Hookah. I like the sound of that. So, diao hookah ehu. Ehu. Not all warm colors. Okay. So that is this part done. And as I said, we're going to consider what we're going to do for case forms after we have worked out the kinks of like inflected prepositions here. I'm going to also I realized I made a mistake here when I was making the word for dragon. I'm just going to quickly pop into Lexergy and do that. So, dapaga, this would end up having class suffixes. So I'm just going to actually make the base paradigm for this. I need to also like program in. So this definitely is a predator. So we have the Ika and we'll jump back here and pow. And then we apply that. Whoop. Okay, so what I'm going to do is why does this happen here? So where is the rule that makes that happen here? So what we have, so syllables Okay, so I think we just need to have this happen here. I think we just need to be able to have two syllabics in a row, right? No, that's not right. I can have a vowel and a vowel together and it be heavy. I don't know why it does that. This is weird. Do I have something wrong with the way I've defined things? No, that's fine. Do I need to have the non-syllabic diacritic? Diacritic. Because this is defined as syllabic. This is defined as syllabic. That might be an issue. So let me grab the non-syllabic. Sorry, just hopefully that actually copied over and I can put it into Lexergy. Yeah. Floating. And this is not syllabic. I mean, minus syllabic? If anyone could tell me how to make, to tell Lexergy a diacritic deletes a feature, I would be very grateful. Meanwhile, I'm just going to have to manually, I think what we'll do here is, where does this happen? So a vowel becomes tongue thrust before a tongue thrust vowel. And then I think what we actually decided would happen is that specifically ash okay, whoever's doing Lexergy, ash e, that becomes long ash. And that would prevent that from happening if it happens before the syllabification. Ah. Okay, so here is what we would end up with is we end up with, where is that? I'll just get the export of it. Defakaka, Defakaka, and Defakapao. Defakapao. And then we can see how that evolves. Yeah, this is gonna have to end up with that stress pattern. Okay. I mean, I've sort of sorted out what the phonotactics are already, and that's why we're doing pronouns here. I was just sitting around. I was sorting out what happens to the native term for dragon, dapaga, in dapaga. Yeah, and when we transfer that into it would be borrowed into like the proto language, and then probably still end up meaning dragon at the end. Let's this is from Ndakaga, obviously. Ndapaga, and then we still need a name for this language, but the thing is, do we have enough to make a name? Or do we want to start working on adjectives a little bit? I think I want to have adjectives and verbs. And let's actually change this. So we're going to talk about verbs. Because with the options that I rolled, then verbs, the verbs are going to be the adjectives are going to be stative verbs, because what we had is adjectives are verb-like in both attributive and predicative constructions. If that's the case, then they're basically just verbs. Like that doesn't make any difference, right? Now, they're going to agree with the noun in number and in noun class, which makes me think that the adjectives are just going to end up taking these same class suffixes. Now, we want to decide. So, verb agreement. I'm thinking agreeing with I'm thinking that having verbs only agree with the subject. Yeah, stative verbs. So we're going to have stative verbs. So we don't need a separate class of adjectives. It's just going to be verbs. I'm thinking that only having verbs agree with the subject or agent and subject is the way to go with this language, just because it'll be more manageable. We could also, I think Bantu has class affixes. They have prefixes that kind of work like ours and marks both subject and object. So it's possible to do like marking agent, patient here, but I'm thinking I did one that marks for with Ndakaga. It marks for everything, right? You like stative verbs, huh? And it's okay to have like if we look at, like, me, just as a quick and dirty reference. If we go to our verbs, we get a verb agreement. Having it's pretty common to have subject, agent, and patient, but just subject and agent is also like pretty common too. It's not. That's what, like. That's what, like 30%, and this is like 40%. This is quick and dirty, obviously. I have like adjusted numbers by a point here and there. But it's like reasonable to do either way. So there are 2 oblique cases, and I haven't like done full noun paradigms yet, but we're gonna have just a straight up oblique. This is anything oblique, and then this is a locative, and this is present in like the middle form of the language. In the dialects, maybe we end up dropping case altogether. Maybe we end up developing core cases. I kind of rolled a weird thing. All stative verbs are just a class of nouns. That would be very wild. And I don't think I'm going to do that with this language. Just to have everything. We could have gone nawat and have everything be a verb, and then derive nouns from verbs. But that's not what I'm going to do. Yeah. Yeah, so by default, there's no case marking, but then we have a couple of oblique cases, right? That's a weird way to put it. Anyway, so here is what we want to do is, before we start doing verb inflections, let's actually, so we have to, where am I? Okay, so let's go to our dice tables. So I have stuff for you don't think no, you have like every noun is also like a verb to be the thing. I think that I might be slightly off on that description. It might be sort of a more general description, but I believe, like, we did a thing a couple years back where a bunch of us tried to learn classical Nahuatl, and it seems that way, but I didn't get too far through the book, so I may be missing some nuance on that. Can I get a tens place digit here? One thing I will determine here with dice here is I'm gonna roll on my TAM table here, or my tense aspect mood tables, and see how we do tenses. And so let me turn on the dice cam. Oh, let me turn on the dice cam. Oh, wait. Okay, I am not recording my vertical. Okay, so Now that we are working on verbs, I want to do tense aspect and mood. So let's go ahead and turn on the dice cam. And my dice cam is going to look a little bit better. First, we're going to roll for tense. And that was very bouncy, but we've got a 93. Goodness, okay. And on a 93, oh, wow, interesting. Let's switch to this. On a 93, just at the edge of this one, we have, let me close this panel so that you can see on stream better. Tense is marked morphologically on the verb and by particles. So, marked morphologically on the verb and by particles. I'm going to copy and paste that into my thing here. So this is going to be interesting, because we're going to have to decide like how what tenses are marked by particles, what tenses are marked morphologically, and all of that. Let's go through all of the TAM stuff, and we will figure out more about this language. So, tenses marked morphologically. What tenses are present on the verb? Do we want to decide that on with the dice, or do we want to decide that on our own? Because I feel like that is something I would prefer. Tinguish, theoretically, yes, everything on these tables is attested in that length. This is all pulled from Grand Bank data. Now, I kind of have made tables based on related features. There may be situations where I can roll. If I were to roll on all of the tables, there are maybe situations where I could roll an impossible language or a language that this combination is never attested and it doesn't make sense. But I tried to make tables based on related features, all based on Grand Bank and Walls and Foible data, where different things are relevant. But do we want to roll for this? I kind of do want to. If we end up with all three marked on the verb, then we can have multiple constructions for some of them so that we end up with. So I think maybe just for the chaos we can roll on that table too. And we got a 53. Can you guys, this is that focus is not working. Okay. We got a 53 there. And a 53. Past and future are marked on the verb. Is that a thing? So I'm going to have to go into the Grand Bank data and see which languages actually do that. It's enough that's not an error, probably. That's probably not an analysis error. But I will go into the Grand Bank data and see what languages mark past and future but not present. Probably it's just like the present is like the default form or something like that. Yeah, so Now, we move on to is there more than one past and or future? This is something that we could this is something that could be interesting. So we get 20 and 9. And if we cross-reference that 29, I have to keep track of my scenes here. 20. Oh, this is a D10 roll. So let's redo that. Redo that. That's a D10. Let's redo that as a D10. And we got a 5. No, there's just one past and future. Now this doesn't mean that in the dialects we can't develop to like an extra, like a ho diurnal and stuff like that. Now, the next one is aspect. So, aspect marking. Is there any aspect marking at all? And we can jump here. I kind of think, I don't know. I want to do this as a roll. Let's roll this. And we've got 73. And stream monitor 62 to 76 is aspect is marked on verbs and auxiliaries. So this is going to be interesting. This is going to be something I'm going to enjoy doing because I really like having like multiple marking and then have those markings interact for even more cool meanings. So that will be pretty interesting to work with. Now, the last table to roll on for verbs here is mood. And it's very simple, like where is mood marked, right? So let's jump to the dice cam again. Last time for doing verbs. And we've got, what is this? This is a 64. What is a 64? Let's jump to... I need to do hotkeys or something for my scenes so that I can do... So it was a 64, 63 to 74. Mood is marked morphologically on the verb and with particles. Okay. So we have a lot of complexity with our TAM constructions that we're going to have to work out. We have a lot of complexity with our TAM constructions because we are marking tense, aspect, and mood on verbs. We also have auxiliaries for aspect. And we have particles for mood. So we're going to have to, and this is not something I can do with dice. We're going to have to like consider what aspects are marked with auxiliaries, what are marked with something on the verb, what moods are marked with auxiliaries, and what moods are marked on the verb. And it's gonna be quite interesting to work through. Let's start with the so using the class markers. So verbs will just take now. We'll have to figure out the person marking stuff here. I think. Let's see. So let's start with verb agreement. Our first thing, let's come up with an example verb. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out how the system ends up working. Now, let's see. Before I kind of want to actually jump into Grand Bank and see their examples of aspect auxiliaries and see what they actually mean. Because there's a couple different ways. Yeah, so this is the one, GB120. Can aspect be marked by an inflecting word? So all aspects and aims to capture phonologically free elements that inflect. These markers are often described as auxiliary verbs, but they are also analyzed under the labels. Other labels. We are interested in grammatical marking that is dedicated, productive, and obligatory marking. Look up the section on aspect marking. Consider all aspectual distinctions, not only perfective, for instance. If you do not find any inflecting words expressing aspect, such as auxiliary verbs or elements, and analyzes pronouns that take tan marking, code is 0. If there is an inflecting word that clearly expresses aspect, code 1. Okay, so Swedish uses an auxiliary verb to have to indicate the difference between simple past and present perfect. So here what we have is the auxiliary, the presence of the auxiliary itself is marking the aspect, which is a super common thing for Indo-European. I think there is potentially another option of having an auxiliary that marks the past, but it kind of depends. Like an auxiliary that inflects for aspect, which may be something that works better for us. We could take a look at this. This is handy. This combined with how do I search through here? I'm gonna have to reduce my screens, my UI scale. Let's go into the 120. Okay, so let's go find. Can is oh gosh, aspects. So what was the aspect is marked on verbs and auxiliaries. See ya, Soten. That's a long walk. I don't know what feature. Let's go into the 80s and see. What I want to find is a language that is at this intersection, but I think that's not something I can find right now. SOV for subjunctive, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, different word order things. So, and we're just gonna do suffixes. Um, let's think about how we do voice. I think I'm going to just decide for that we're gonna have a passive voice on this one, but we can think about some of these other things. For now, let's sketch out our verb agreement. So we need we'll just go we'll singular and plural, and then class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And actually, we need more than that. So we're going to have, I think, so we'll just have singular and plural, right? On verbs. The dual is only in pronouns. Then we have one exclusive and one inclusive. And then 2, and then these 5. And I think a quick thing to do is just to pull these oh, have we not decided that? And pull these. And then the class 5 is like a default, right? What we'll have to deal with is what are the person affixes. And let me just ask a straightforward just up or down poll. Are person, so are the person verb agreement suffixes related to the personal pronouns? So what I'm asking here is, do they come from these, the singular and plural of these? Or do they, are they like their own things? There's a dead heat here. Let's see how many people are on the stream here. Okay. Well, I will let you guys stew on that for a few minutes then, while we think about other things. So, the simple thing to me would be to have something like Indo-European languages, where some aspects like just have an auxiliary construction that means that aspect, like the have x construction, in English, right? Where this is perfect aspect, or we have be x-ing for progressive aspect, right? This actually could be something that we could do. Have a verb form, like a non-finite verb form, and then this is distributed over the verb, right? That kind of thing happens all over Indo-Europe. At least in the European zone. I'm not super familiar actually with Indo-European languages outside of the European zone. It's like I don't study like Persian or Indian languages or much that much. So that's an option for us here. For the aspect part of it. Mood, like we can have just modals in addition to our a couple of basic moods, right? I think for aspect and mood, it can be interesting to have the aspect and mood marking on the verb be similar to Let's see. Let's see where we are here. Okay, so you guys are saying verb agreement suffixes. We've got, okay, I think we can end this poll not related to the pronouns, which is an interesting thing. This is a change from what we did for Inducica, where we just took the pronouns and like stuck them on the front of the verb, right? The front and the end, actually. Here we will do something different. Now, okay, here's another up and down vote. Before we like make a couple of forms, because we can make a couple of suffixes right here, and then tomorrow we can, next week we can work on tam. If we do, am I gonna do? Yeah, next week is the 14th. Unless there's something that comes up, I probably will be here next week. Let's start. Okay. Is the clusivity distinction clusivity? I think my browser just doesn't know that word. Distinction marked on the verb. So, in other words, is the exclusive versus inclusive we marked on the verb? This has implications for how we structure this here. It can go either way, right? We have it in pronouns, but are we going to mark it on the verb? Okay, wow, okay. This is pretty overwhelming. Let's but there's still some votes out. So if you guys if you have a different opinion from the people who are there, you still have a chance for a little bit. I'll give you another minute or two there. What does it look like when I have a poll up? Okay, it's just here. Okay, I think that the yeses are not going to recover. So, okay, so we're going to actually delete this row then. Oh. Warm colors, I'm sorry. Sometimes the polls don't work out in your favor. So we have so we need to make suffixes for singular and plural, first person and second person. I lost the presidential election too. That is the saddest one. But we're still here. We will still continue fighting on that. And so let's make this a heading 4 so that pops under there. No. Okay, so let's let's generate a few things, and let's go. Let's get some nice. I don't like any of those. Stew, maybe. I'll put stew in there. Stew. Pea, fruit. Yeah, this would end up being fruit and. Let's just put all of these in here. Do I want that to be? You know what? I'm just going to arrange these. I think all of these can. Oh gosh, we got voiceless ones. We got voiceless vowels, everyone. Oh, this becomes ooh. Oh, yes, absolutely. I want to have that one on there somewhere. So let's I think I will actually have this. These are going to look related, but will not actually be related. And this is going to be tough. And that's actually not this one. Let's generate another root. I want this a little bit. Let's actually get this ST in there. What does actually yes. So actually what I want to do is to have where am I? Let's yeah. Give the impression that those are somehow related. Or actually, what? No, I want I want these to be and then this. And then let's make up a verb. It can be any verb. Somebody suggest to me a basic verb root that we can use for testing. Just the meaning for it, and then we'll come up with like the root here. I'll go ahead and like generate some more roots. Go. To walk? Walk is a good one. Let's do with walk. So let's see. I think not uchit. I think we have pu in some other ones. Let's select like 5 of these. Let's okay, so I want to, let me Notepad++ this. And let's, I don't want that one. That one could be interesting. I have Pew in other places right now. Not into this for walk yet. Okay. And then I will make this a straw poll. Is our word for walk. And we're going to do this. We're going to do this as a ranking poll. Okay, and then random order. And I'll give you till 45. Oh, this is, I need to put the date in here. Create the poll. Share the poll, copy. Okay, and I will watch the results on that. Okay, we'll have that sort of going in the background. And then we're going to be thinking about, I'm going to have to think pretty deeply about how we do all of our TAM stuff because of the complex nature of it. I'm thinking that would probably have all of this like mixed up a little bit, like the tense and aspect and mood affixes all mixed up together a little bit. Um, do a little bit, be a bit more fusional on the on those, and then we're gonna have to decide why is Muse, what is Muse Hub popping up? Okay, whatever. Just, yeah. You can go ahead and do that while I'm talking to people, I guess. What do I use to generate? Oh, my generating thing. This is Lexifer, and here's the link to it. Um, so that's what I use to generate roots, and then I go to Lexergy in order to apply sound changes. So it takes being comfortable with like putting together this config file, but it with the help you should be able to handle it. Jeep, Jeep, Jeep would, yeah, that'll be interesting. Okay, well, we'll see when the voting ends which one you decided. Let's see, where am I? Oh gosh, Tabby, what happened? You had a flood? Gosh, that's not fun. I don't like that. Okay. What is going on with that? Why does that look? Yeah, I'm gonna have to fix that. Okay, our poll should be over now. Okay, here's our results. We ended up with Upiu. Upiu becomes Ufu. So let's go and do our thing with that. So here's our thing, and where is this? Okay. Okay. And then we are going to yeah, that happened. That's just a thing you have to deal with. So let's let's go ahead and I'm going to let me get this up. Oh, that's nice. That's actually quite nice. Let's close this so we can. So we're gonna have this, and then we will. And then we will put the this. Oh, I don't want to put it that. I want to put the etymon of it. Yeah, put this, and then let's do all the singulars and then all the plurals. And then let's make sure that we get the actual etymons for these. Right, so we want and what we had was ud and eek, and I think what we are doing is we're just putting the e there, and then let's go down to plural here. And then come back here. This is just an E, and then we got pug, and then pau, then ab, and then yeah, that's fine. That's all we need. Okay, so we apply those changes. Oh goodness, so many errors. This is why I need to. No combination of diacritics has the matrix TTTH labial syllabic. Really? Because that should be. Oh, okay. I need to define. I need to define this one. I thought I had that. Yeah. And we will apply. And now what's up? Why did this? Oh, what? Okay, so Let's trace changes. Let's trace these. I just want to see where the error is going. Apply. So what we have, okay. This is actually super handy. So we got a p, okay, how do we end up with a heavy? Oh, this becomes heavy. And then the error id doesn't fit the syllable structure. There's no syllable pattern. It starts with p. But that shouldn't be a syllable. So my syllabification is messing up because it's thinking that it has to put all of these vowels together because there's a short vowel. I'm not sure how to fix that. This is the problem here. So what I would want interesting. So what I want is we have front round, but the front round does not. Front round and then vowel length happens. So what we want to happen is before we do vowel length, is I want to do any sequence of so it's U coalescence. Let's do this. YU becomes E. Close that. Make this there. Let's see if that fixes it. Okay, now we still get an error here. The last syllable E is incomplete. Why is it incomplete? because that's not listed in my vowels. This has been Debugging Lexergy with George. Okay, and now this is an error. Low syllabic labial. Well, I don't want low syllabic labial, so we want to go to front round. And we'll make sure that this doesn't happen to low vowels. We'll just add this to all of them, right? I mean, I don't think the creator of Lexergy is making any money at all. So I don't think that they could hire me. But between me and David, we do find a lot of things. This is all in my configuration. This is all errors in my configuration, though. I'm just making sure that, like, okay, now everything's sorted out finally. Okay, so now we just need to plug these into the chart. Let's go to the export. Not stages. Let's get this, and then we'll go here. Well, we'll go to the correct thing, right? Oh, I need to expand it. I'm not thinking right now. It's coming to the end of the show, so my brain is not fully there right now. Okay, so, and then we have oh, this is cool. Ufik. We've ended up with sort of a vowel harmony situation. Ufik. Ufu. Ufu. Ufuik. Ufuik. Ufu. Okay. And then this should be, why is this not long? This should be long, right? And then Ufuti. 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 Oh, this is, yes. Okay, so we've run into a verb where some of these forms end up merging. Just, you see that? Because of the way rounding gets spread around, this one and this one have merged. And so Class 1 plurals and Class 4 singulars merge. Now, I can think of ways I can try to disambiguate that, or I can leave it alone. Probably you're going to have like nouns in the sentence that will make it work. Oh, and and yes, my new Luxembourg short is out, so you can watch for that. But yeah, so here we go. I haven't done. I have this. Put this in the. This should be in the nouns section, right? That's fine. So here we have our base agreement paradigm. Now we're going to have to next week. We're going to deal with TAM marking, and we're going to have to come up with like whole systems based on just me rolling some dice about that. We don't need that anymore. I don't need that to be. Why? What is that? Okay. And we've got our pronouns. That's what we've accomplished. We have pronouns, and we have our basic idea for verb agreement. And there and